Matt GPT. I have a question. Can the FCC pull a broadcast license for unfavorable war coverage?
In March 2026, President Trump posted on Truth Social complaining about coverage of the Iran war, called it fake news, said the media actually wants us to lose the war. Within hours, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr posted this response. Broadcasters that are running hoaxes and news distortions, also known as fake news, have a chance now to correct course before their license renewals come up. The law is clear. Broadcasters must operate in the public interest, and they will lose their license if they do not. Now, you may be thinking, can they actually do that? Is it legal? Does the Constitution have something to say about this? It's worth asking, especially since Carr himself said in 2021, a newsroom's decision about what stories to cover and how to frame them should be beyond the reach of any government official. But first, let's get into some history. Let's go back to the foundation of our country, the basis of all this, the First Amendment. 5 freedoms, 1 sentence, religion, speech, press, assembly, petition. Why those 5? Because every single one of them was something the British Crown had taken from the colonists. Under British rule, you could not operate a printing press without a government license. The Crown issued it. The Crown could revoke it. Print something the king didn't like, license gone, business gone. The founders had lived it, so they wrote the First Amendment to make sure it could never happen here. It only took 7 years for someone to try anyway. In 1798, Congress passed the Alien and Sedition Act, which made it a crime to publish false, scandalous, or malicious writings against the government or the President of the United States. It sparked a heated debate among the very people who wrote the Constitution. Thomas Jefferson argued that in a republic, the people are sovereign, not the government. The people must be able to criticize their government, especially on matters of war, especially when the pressure to demand loyalty over truth is at its highest. James Madison went further. The press must be completely free from government coercion. No exceptions for wartime, no exceptions for national security, no exceptions. And then there's Alexander Hamilton. Hamilton actually supported the Sedition Act. His argument was that the First Amendment prohibited government from censoring speech before it was published. But he believed that government could punish speech after the fact if it was false and malicious. Publish the truth, fully protected. Publish lies about the government during a national security crisis, different story. In Hamilton's framework, truth is an absolute defense. Lies are not. History, the courts, and 2 centuries of First Amendment law have sided with Jefferson and Madison, not Hamilton. But here's the thing about Hamilton that matters for today. Even Hamilton, the founder most sympathetic to federal power, the one who thought you could punish false speech, never argued that government could compel favorable coverage. Punishing lies is one thing, demanding praise is something else entirely. The First Amendment held, but the battlefield kept changing. By the 1920s, radio was everywhere, stations popping up all over the country. Without any rules, broadcasters are literally overpowering each other on the dial. Pure chaos. So in 1934, Congress created the Federal Communications Commission. The idea was simple. Government manages the airwaves, not the content. And it worked until 1949 when the FCC created the Fairness Doctrine. Now, broadcasters must present balanced coverage of controversial topics. It started with radio and moved on to television. In practice, it meant this. If you want your broadcast license renewed, make sure your coverage doesn't make anyone in Washington uncomfortable. And it wasn't just theory. The Kennedy administration used it. The Johnson administration used it. The Nixon administration used it. All of them used it to pressure broadcasts covering their opponents. Then in 1987, Ronald Reagan's FCC killed the Fairness Doctrine. The reason was simple. Government had no business telling a broadcaster what to say. The First Amendment is not a balancing requirement. It is a prohibition on government interference. And what happened the moment government got out of the newsroom? Rush Limbaugh. 1988, 3 hours a day, 30 million listeners, the most influential voice in conservative media for 3 decades, built entirely on the foundation Reagan created. And Rush spent years warning his audience about the one threat that could destroy everything Reagan built: government using licensing power to pressure broadcast content. He said if the Fairness Doctrine ever came back in any form, it would be the end of free speech in American broadcasting. He was right. He just didn't see where the threat would come from. Brendan Carr wrote the media chapter of Project 2025. The first 7 words of that chapter: the FCC should promote freedom of speech. Since becoming FCC chairman, he has launched formal investigations of nearly every major broadcast network in America: ABC, NBC, CBS, NPR, every major network except for one, Fox News. When Jimmy Kimmel made comments critical of Trump, Carr suggested local stations risked their licenses for airing the show. 2 of the largest broadcast groups in America pulled Kimmel from their programming. CBS lawyers advised Colbert not to air an interview with the Democrat Senate candidate over fears of an FCC equal time violation. But what makes this movement feel different to a lot of Americans is that it's not just one thing. It's the systematic use of executive power to control not just what the press covers, but what Americans can say, see, and do.